Next conversation today is with Valdamar Archuleta. He is both the president of the LGBT conservative group, Log Cabin Republicans of Colorado, and also you are the Republican candidate for the safest Democratic seat in Colorado's congressional delegation, District 1 in Denver. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
The Colorado Republican Party is calling for the burning of all pride flags and headlined their mass email, "God hates pride." When you first saw that, what did you think?
Well, being that they put out a very similar email last year, I wasn't really surprised. I was more disappointed that they would do it again. Last year, I did meet with Dave Williams, and we had a very long conversation about the subject. And I told him that there are certain issues that are being brought up in this email that I don't disagree with. There are things I think we need to talk about as a community, but the approach and the method in which he went about doing it was really bad. It has really bad optics. It looks bad. And my primary concern, or the thing I'm most upset about, is that this does not represent the party well.
Does it just look bad, or is it bad?
It is bad. It is bad. But it is the optics, I think, that really is what the message is. When you look at the optics, and the optics are part of the message, so it's bad. And it's not representative of who Republicans are. It's not representative of who the Republican voter base in Colorado is. And the very fact that I am the candidate for Colorado's first congressional district is proof of that.
You don't think that most Colorado Republicans are anti-gay?
No.
Not surprising to you, though, obviously, because last year, Pride Month,
they
sent out a message
they did a very similar thing.
Yeah, in which Pride Month morphed into the word demon.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, you saw that last year. You
I did.
still signed up to run for Congress and be the standard bearer of a state party that thinks you're a demon.
Well, I don't believe that the state party believes I'm a demon. I think they're being hyperbolic in their language because they want to get a reaction from the public. They're trying to make a statement, and they're doing it in a way that's not productive. And
Can I ask you,
yes.
if you're right that most Coloradans are not bigots, but they're sending these emails out to get a reaction, you think they're looking for a reaction from a minority?
Yes. I think that a lot of the people in the party at the top are living in a bubble where they don't understand the reality of their own party. And I say this because I've gone around the state. Log Cabin Republicans are a statewide organization. I've gone out to Mesa County, Pueblo, up to Fort Collins, Boulder, and I am well accepted everywhere. I'm welcoming, they're friendly, they're loving. I have never had any problems traveling around the state working with the Republican Party. And again, just the very fact that I am the candidate in Colorado's first congressional district is proof of that, because there were 3 people running in CD1, which was kind of ridiculous, but there were 3 of us, and I'm the only one who got through assembly because I got 74% of the vote, so nobody else got enough of the vote to get on the ballot. And they know who I am. They know that I'm a gay Republican, so this isn't like a shock that's coming out afterwards, like, what? He was gay? It was very well known.
So the state Republican chair, Dave Williams, will say that he's trying to remake the state party in the image and the tone of Donald Trump, kind of like the confrontational, own the lib style. But you don't hear anti-gay stuff from Donald Trump.
You don't. And Donald Trump loves the gays. He is the first president to go into office who fully accepted same-sex marriage. He's the first president to go into office who waved a rainbow flag on his campaign. Log Cabin Republicans nationally have had multiple fundraisers at Mar-a-Lago where Donald Trump himself attended. And Melania Trump, this year, the very first thing she has done was a fundraiser for Log Cabin Republicans. So Donald Trump himself is very welcoming of the LGBT community.
Now, there are going to be folks who say that a number of his administration's policies were not LGBTQ friendly. That's not what we're here to discuss
and
today.
That's another
We can have that
issue.
conversation a different time. I want to ask you, though, about the seriousness in which you view this email versus how some other folks view the rhetoric coming out of the state GOP. Because I hear you describe it as optics and not helpful, and you strike me as kind of a cheerful, optimistic guy. The stuff that's in that message to the public, though, is really dark. Like when they're saying God hates flags, we both know what they want to say, but they don't have the courage to say. And it's pretty vile stuff.
And that, to me, that's something that I think that the Christian community, especially with Republicans, should look at that email and they should be offended. And I know some that are. I have received calls and messages from Christians who found it offensive because it is kind of a reference to the Westboro Baptist Church. And they go out and they protest military funerals. No Christians want to be associated with them. So why that kind of language or imagery would be used to convey a message from our state party is troubling to even Christians in Colorado.
Is there any level of anti-gay bigotry from the Colorado GOP that would cause you to leave the party?
Yes. If it did get to the point where I felt like this was something that was widespread throughout the community of Republicans, I would leave. And yesterday, I saw that you, when you messaged me early about like my Twitter accounts, I knew what quote was going to be coming that I put out.
You called the party leaders morons, and you said that their message was just hateful.
And that was an emotional response.
Was it true?
Yes, and that's why I've left it up. I did made another post later in the day where I said, I know my first response there, I just read the email. It was an emotional reaction. But I'm not deleting the post because I think it's valid in the underlying statement. But again, going back to if I felt homophobia or bigotry was widespread throughout the party, I would leave. But I don't see that when I go out and talk to Republicans. And even with Dave, I have had conversations with Dave. I do not think Dave hates me because I'm gay. I don't think that Dave is a homophobic person. What he said that email was. But he as a person, I don't believe is.
Do you think he's pretending to be a homophobe?
He's trying to get a reaction. And you kind of mentioned something that I think is very important, that there are individuals who want to be like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a very unique person, especially in politics. He, in 2016, was kind of a novelty, and people liked to watch him and hear him say things because he is very hyperbolic in his language. He says things that elicit a reaction. And but that also is his nature. It's not like he just became that in 2016. He's been that like his entire life. So it shouldn't be surprising that he's now like that as a politician. But I think what some people are trying to do is emulate that personality. And it doesn't fit everyone. He's a very unique person. That kind of messaging and that kind of delivery is unique to him, and it should be left to him or someone who has that natural personality. Other people trying to force it on themselves, it doesn't work.
So you've renounced the endorsement of the Colorado Republican Party, but you're not leaving the party. You're still running as a Republican. I take it that's your way of just saying, party leadership, I don't necessarily want to be associated with you, but I still want to be associated with the GOP.
Yes, and that is how I feel, because like I said, I've had great experiences with the Republican Party. The Young Republicans of Denver gave me an endorsement, and actually just right before this show, I found out that the Colorado Federation of Women Republicans have endorsed me. So those ones I'm very proud to accept, because I think those are good organizations with good people, and they have a good message that they're sharing. They're hopeful and positive. But the state party with that email is like, I just can't have that attached to me as a person, to me as a campaign. And I think it was important to make that statement to the public that, you know what, I can be a Republican, but I can also disagree with the party from time to time. I don't have to buy into every single thing they say. I don't have to agree with every person in the country who has an R next to their name, because no political party is perfect. And I think everyone, whatever political party you're associating yourself with, there should be a time when you're like, all right, I disagree with that. And it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You're no longer part of the party, but it's okay to have a disagreement with your party.
Let's talk about your race. You're Republican running in Colorado's safest Democratic seat.
Yes.
You know you're going to get smoked in November. We both know it. You've pretty much said it.
You can't say that, Kyle.
We can say it. Why run? Why do it?
I believe that the people of Denver deserve to have options. Anytime you have any area, whichever party it may be, if it's a one-party district, the people in that area are disadvantaged in that they don't get options. They don't get to hear the message from the other side. They don't get to hear a variety of different solutions to the issues that they're facing as a community. And I think the people of Denver deserve to hear different options. And I think there's a lot of people in our community who are very open to hearing about conservative solutions to the problems facing Denver. I started this campaign back in January. Not a lot of people noticed me, but I was there in January, and since then I've been going around to different community meetings, talking with different community leaders, and oftentimes when I go to events, I'm the only Republican in the room. Oftentimes I'm the only Republican who's ever been there to speak to this group. And I have found that many people agree with, I would say, like 95% of what I'm talking about. And because we're all living together, we all live in the same city, we're all facing the same problems. It's not like we're different breeds of people. Like we need to come together and we need to have these discussions because it is important for the people of Denver to hear an opposing side, as it would be if there was a very safe Republican district that never had a Democrat come talk to them. I think that just these conversations are very important. And so if what this race gets is that I have a platform to reach out to the community in Denver, then I take that as a win.
At the end of the day, does stuff like the GOP saying burn all pride flags and God hates flags and stuff like that, does it get harder for you to have those one-on-one conversations with people?
It does. That is a stumbling block that's put in front of not just myself, but even there may be races around the Denver metro area or throughout the state that maybe we're going to be very close. Now the Republican candidate has an obstacle they're going to have to get around, something they're going to have to address, not just now, but throughout the entirety of their campaign. And they're going to have an answer for, just like I'm answering for it right now. So it is a stumbling block, and it does put a barrier between not just Republicans, but conservatism and the general public. So it is an obstacle to get over, but it's not insurmountable.
Valdamar Archuleta, thank you for your time and your sport code.
Thank you. It's good to talk to you.